Hello everyone and welcome to the launch screen. And why isn't the game showing? Just bear with me while I sort that out. This is very strange, but there we go. There's the game. So hi Alex Shandy, hi Epona, nice to see you here. Yeah, I thought I'd inflict the beeper music on you this time because it gives me enough time to post up all of the social and Discord messages to tell people that the stream's starting. So hopefully you can all hear me okay because I have terrible trouble setting the microphone up so that it doesn't crackle and break up, but yet still is loud enough to hear. So hopefully this is okay. This is the launch stream for the Chambers Beneath. So it launched today. The URL is there in the message at the top, and also it's on the screen, but you'd have to retype that if you want to use the one that's on the screen all the time. But I'll post it in the chat periodically with the one that you can copy and paste, or just click on to load up the itch page. So yeah, it's on itch alongside all my other games. It is on my own website as well, but I decided to launch on launch day at least to direct people to the itch page, which has worked because it's I like to see how well it's doing on itch. And this game so far has done really well on itch. Lots of visits, lots of views of the page, quite a few downloads, and I mean it hasn't earned a big amount of money in donations, but none of my games has. This one's got as much in donations for me in one day as Ossuary's done in 5 years, so it's doing quite well. So I can't remember where I left off on my streams last week and before with the playtesting, but I decided to use a fresh install today. And so we're going to start with a new hero. So thanks, yeah, I like this palette. I especially like the fact that you can get quite a few dithered colour mixes. Like you can get a reddish, a bluish and a greenish colour out of it without having any red, any proper blue or any green in the palette. So it does quite well. Although that only works on larger areas. It works on the potion bottles, and you've got these pink coins, which you can't get gold, so I thought of the term rose gold and decided that this pink could stand in for rose gold. Let's see which characters we've got. We've got Akara, who has bludgeoning, high strength, which warriors do, tactics and dodging, which are good skills. Stealth is actually a ranger skill, but it's useful for a warrior. And so is protection, especially with an intelligence that's not too bad, 6, because we can use that for healing. But let's see who else is available. So we've got Mitad the Ranger, who's actually a better character, I think, because they've got archery 3. And bludgeoning 2 is better, it's okay, but you'd still be in for a bit of a rough time as a starter character, even in the basic dungeons. But archery 3, you should be able to hold your own with a sling, and that's enough to use a bow as well. So, and then lockpicking is useful. I've not played much with lockpicking, so it would be nice, especially starting with level 2 lockpicking, to be able to have a less linear experience, because the keys are quite linear in this game. There's 24 dungeons, and the easiest dungeon has a key to the next easiest dungeon that has a key to the next easiest dungeon, so you end up having to visit all the dungeons to get the keys. But if you've got lockpicking, you can bypass quite a bit of that. So that's a good character. And then Mattia the Mage is not that good because the control 3 is nice, once you get the spells to control creatures, to freeze them and confuse them and make them run away, that's okay. But power at 1 means you can hardly cause any injury to them in the meantime. So I'm not going to be picking Matty the Mage. I think it's going to be Mitad the Ranger. So let's have a look and see what we're looking for. So Jeren, Lord of Dystery. Sounds a bit too close to dysentery, but that's the name generator for you. So it's the Plate of Might. In fact, I'll read it out. Greetings, Mitad. I'm Jeren, Lord of Dystery. One of the city's greatest treasures, the Plate of Might, has been stolen. I've had to close the city gates till it's found. I suspect it's been hidden in the chambers beneath the city. To the hero who finds the plate and returns it to me, the citizens of Dystery will be forever grateful. So let's have a look at this city then. So we're on the city streets now. These little towers you can see are the entrances to the dungeons. But before we go down the dungeons, we need to get equipment. So my ranger can use a short bow, but there are no short bows in the shop. These are long bows, these big ones. And even if there were short bows in this shop, I wouldn't be able to afford any of them because they cost 24 gold, and I have 20. So let's see if any of these slings have any special enchantments on them. Nope, they're all plain slings. The basic weapons for each character are always pre-identified in the shop, so if there were enchantments or curses on any of these slings, they would show here. That doesn't apply to the higher level weapons like the longbow or any of the armor protection like the cloak. So, but it does apply to the slings. So we know all of these slings are just plain vanilla slings. So let's buy one. While we're here, we'll cash in the gold, so we're not carrying it around. That means that the coins are now credits. That's accepted in any shop in the city. So we're done in the shop. Let's go and find the merchant who sells food, because we don't have any special healing skill. But food will heal us. So bread costs 2 each, and there's 6 in a stack, so if we buy 1 stack of food, that costs us 12. And that leaves us 2 credits to put towards something else in the future. Now, what I've just noticed about this city is there is only 1 tower, which means this is unusual in this game. This is a straight down linear dungeon of 24 levels, one after the other, which isn't necessarily the best experience, but that's what we've got. It's what most people are used to in roguelikes as well. So I was hoping that rat would go away and I'd get better range on it. Are you going to go away? No, it isn't. Well, that means I can go out of this store. Right, no rat down there. Aha, it's coming around there. So let's shoot that rat. That was easy. So we'll raid some of these chests. Dagger's no use to me, but I can sell it in this shop, which is going to be the case for a lot of these treasures. A bit more food. An alternative sling. Now, slings that you find down in the dungeon are not identified. So that sling that I've just picked up might well have a curse or an enchantment on it. Ornate bronze key. That will be useful for the next dungeon, because I didn't buy any lockpicks. I didn't really have enough money. So let's shoot this next vermin. Missed. Oh, potion. Okay, this is why I brought food. So before I go on, that's not what I meant to do. I didn't mean to open the chest. I meant to go into the inventory. Let me just move myself so that my key. In fact, I shouldn't move myself because I'm on camera. I should move my keyboard. Haven't yet got those streamer skills perfected yet. So bread heals 2. So I'll eat 2 bread. You'll notice it's only healing 1 per turn, but it does actually heal 2 in total, because as I continue moving, you'll see that my health is continuing to go up. But I've had to move and attract the attention of this vermin, which means I'm losing even more hit points, which means I need to eat even more bread. So I'm 8 hit points down, so I need to eat all of that bread. But this potion might be interesting. Right, let's see if I can enter a room without immediately taking hits. Yes, I can. That was an easy kill. I'll wait for the rat to come away from this wall. It's doing the opposite of what I want. Is it going to go away? Yes. Okay, it's coming back. So, aha, there we go, I get to go in. I think my best bet is to wait. Dodge my projectile. Defeated. Good, I didn't take any more hits. Because all I've got left now is those 2 berries. I don't know what that potion is yet, and I don't propose to just drink it and try it out, because there's an alternative and safer way to find out what's in a potion, and that's to take it to the magician and pay to get it identified. Right, that rat's sitting in the corner there. There we are. Right, so I can't get within range of this rat without aggravating it. So I'm just going to have to not care. Oh, that was good. I didn't take any hits. So I already, oh, there's still a rat to go. Oh, a scroll. Oh, I've just realised I've got control magic. Oh, excuse me. So if that scroll is confusion, then I can use it. But like the potion, I don't intend to try until I know what it is. I know because these dungeons are linear, I know that the key I picked up here is the key to this grate. So I'm still confident, as expected. Instead of wandering around, because I'm in a long corridor, I'll fire a shot north. Yeah, I thought that would aggro something. And I'll fire a shot south. Now do another one north, right? There's nothing else in the corridor. And nothing else to the south. Although you have to be careful, just because there's nothing in the corridor now, doesn't mean that something isn't going to wander into the corridor at any time. So some more food, which is going to be useful. Another sling, which I will unwield, because I don't want to risk it having a curse. I will risk the cap having a curse though. If I notice I get spectacularly bad at hitting the monsters, then I'll take that cap off. But that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. Another scroll. My chance of successfully learning a spell on the first reading is still less than 50-50. So I'll let this rat come all the way down here. So when I do get the scroll that I want, I may well be unsuccessful in reading it. Now I haven't left room for this key, so let's put the least valuable thing back in the chest, which would be this staff. And let's take the key. Now I don't really like having this dagger in my hand because it's not something I can use. Oops, I said unwield, and what I actually meant was drop. Let's wield the key instead and take the dagger. I can't pick up that staff because my inventory is full. Right, where's the stairs down? There they are. I'm not going to explore the dungeon below much. I'm just going to have a quick look and see what to expect. So we've got vermin, tangle vines. I think there's going to be something else in this dungeon. We just can't see it, because each dungeon gets harder either by adding a new creature or by the easier creatures disappearing. So before coming down here, I would have predicted either this dungeon would be all tangle vines or that it would be vermin, tangle vines and something else. We can't see the something else. I don't want to have to deal with the vermin right now, although I don't suppose it's too much of a big risk. We can handle vermin, and I can pick up those berries, so that's what I'll do. Yeah, I thought the vermin might start moving towards us. Okay, that's one creature defeated. So let's go back up to the surface where I can empty my inventory and probably level up and get myself another skill. And I can decide now, actually, before we get to that stage, on the basis that one of these scrolls might be... Let's just check that neither of them are magic darts. Neither of them are magic darts. Magic darts, one of the basic spells. It's like the basic weapons. It's already identified. So if either was magic dart, it would say so. Which means there's a good chance one of them is confusion. So what I shall do... I think it's the next stairs up that we get to the city, is I will up that control magic to level 2. And that way, when I read a control spell successfully, I'll have a really good chance of actually casting confusion on monsters. So let's sell these daggers. Oh, we'll cash in the coins first to get them out of the inventory. Sell these daggers. Now everything else that's in this inventory I want to identify. So luckily I've got quite a lot of money and there's not much that I need to buy at this stage. So let's find the magician. There's the magician. So back to the best magic shop in District. Estis, the owner of the premises. So first of all, let's identify the spells. That's Soul Search, which is useless to us. Oh, that was a magic dart spell. Oh, this is interesting. Yes, we don't know. I said we'd know the magic dart spell if we saw it, but that's not the case until you go in the mage's shop. Because we didn't go to the mage's shop before we descended the dungeons, we'd never seen a magic dart spell. You only identify the magic dart spell if you come in here. But one of these two is likely to be the spell that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy this first, this L. And let's identify this for 2 gold. That's a healing spell, it was the wrong one. So let's sell this. And then let's buy this Z spell. Excuse me. I don't need to identify this because I know by process of elimination that this is the confusion spell. So I'll spend my money identifying this leather cap. That's a plain leather cap. I think I'll keep it for the time being because armor really helps you if you've got dodging. But if you don't have dodging, a reasonable amount of armor helps you a bit. And this is the start of my collection of armor. I may end up getting rid of it eventually. Or I may end up replacing it if I get an enchanted helmet of, say, plus intelligence, which will make it easier to read scrolls. I might wear that instead. Let's check these slings out. So that's a cursed sling, we don't want that. That's another plain sling, it's no better than the one we're already using. That's an enchanted sling, so that one is well worth using. Because enchantment's capped at 12. Well, all the stats are capped at 12. Sorry, not enchantment. Agility is capped at 12. Like all of the stats. So 10 plus 1 is worth having. Oh, and while we're here, let's identify the potion. An intelligence potion, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we want, because what that does is temporarily raises our intelligence. So I can drink that. Hopefully it'll raise intelligence by a reasonable amount. It's anywhere between 2 and 12. And while that's in effect, I can read the scroll and have a good chance of understanding it. So let's get out of the shop. I think we've done everything in here that I intend to do. So let's quaff the intelligence potion. Yeah, 6 plus 9, there we go, that's 15. It'll really only act as 12. And also, anything above 9 just gets shown as plus 9. So it's a shame we don't have multiple scrolls to read. I think this is almost a certainty now. Yes, we learned confusion. So that plus 9 is going to start to go down now, but there's nothing else we can use it for. But it served its purpose now. It turned the chances of us understanding that spell from like less than 50-50 into an almost certainty. Oh, the other thing I need to do is let's unsling that sling and use the enchanted one with agility plus 1. And then find our ranger colleague, who I think is down here, yeah. And we'll sell these things. Now, is there anything in this shop that I want? Excuse me, yes, there are lockpicks. We shouldn't actually need lockpicks at all in this game, which makes that lockpicking a bit redundant, because the dungeons are linear. Every key will be the one we need for the dungeon that follows. So that lockpicking is a bit wasted. So I don't think I'll bother buying lockpicks actually. I think I'll ignore that lockpicking skill and just spend all my skill points that I get from level ups on other skills. Like I might up the archery to 5 because you need archery 5 to use a longbow. And if the shop is not stocking short bows, then I'll try and buy one of those longbows before they disappear. There's a rat right outside the door, but we can just ignore it and go down. Oh, there was more stuff in here, wasn't there? I'll pick that up on the way up if my inventory has got any space in. Just shoot that rat for the sake of it. Alright, so this is the one where we've already killed a rat, and we're going to have to take a hit from this tangle vine. Well, I didn't buy much food, did I? I might have to make a trip back. In fact, I might even die here because the tangle vine has paralysed me. Now I've defeated it and there's a spare thing. Right, I think before I go any further... Oh, the spiders. Yeah, I definitely need food before I start to tackle things like this. So I shall hurry back upstairs. And get me some food. Right, the merchant was up here somewhere, wasn't she? Yeah, there she is. There's no bread this time. So I will buy 2 stacks of food, 2 stacks of chicken. In fact, I need to eat 2 chicken right away, so I'll buy 3 stacks of chicken. And while I'm here, I'll spend my last 2 gold on identifying this new... No, I didn't want to sell it here. Identify, yes. It's a plain sling, so we can sell that and get a bit of gold back. There we go, now down the dungeons again. The other rat is locked in a room, so I don't need to bother about that one. In fact, I should pick these things up. Oops. I made a change to the game late in beta testing, where if you're firing over stupidly long distances, like the length of this corridor, the accuracy you've just shot decreases the further you're shooting. And that counts for the monsters as well. The main reason I did it was because some monsters at higher levels were just one-shotting players from across the screen. The first you'd know they existed was when they killed you. So I thought I'd nerf them, and in the interests of fairness, I would have to nerf your own shots, because the game's not much of a challenge if you can just stand at the end of the corridor and shoot things with impunity. Right, I think what I'm going to do is go into this room, which might aggro this tangle vine. Yep. Retreat from the room until the tangle vine forgets me. The tangle vines are like sentient plants. That's why they're moving around. Now I can go through this room and shoot down this corridor. You can still get hits on things at long range, but they don't cause as much damage. So I've already got the key in my hand, so let's open this chest. Get the key first, because then it'll go in my hand. And we've got more food, which is actually good, because I can now eat 2 of those berries and be back up to full strength. Right, what's in here? There's a vermin in there. Is it going to move helpfully into my line of sight? Well, it is, but it's going to be right next to me as well. Okay, that went well. So this key must be the key to that grate. You can see why I ignored lockpicking, because the keys are just coming to me in the exact order that I need them. If there were multiple dungeons, then lockpicking would have been more useful, because the key that you pick up might be for a dungeon under a completely different tower. But when there's only one tower in the city, that's not going to be the case. Ah, these are a bit dangerous because these fire goo at you. Yeah. Is it worth me running away around the corner? No, I'm going to give it another shot. Yeah. That was the better option. So I have a piece of chicken which will heal 4 eventually. And see what's in these chests. Right, I'll try and get up close to this, because their melee abilities are not as good as the ranged abilities. Although having said that, it caused an awful lot of damage to me with that hit. So let's eat 2 pieces of chicken and 2 berries, which should bring me up to full strength. Running quite low on food now though. I'd rather deal with this vermin up close than with that spider. And I don't want to be caught. Goodness me. Do I risk it? No, I think what I'll do is I'll go upstairs. Now that I'm safe, because monsters don't know how to climb the stairs. I'll just raise my health a little bit. That should be enough. Go down the stairs and have a second shot on the vermin. The third. There we go. Okay, now I don't want to get close to this spider or that tanglevine, not with health at 13. So I shall tread carefully, and once I'm done with this dungeon, I'll probably retreat and get some food, unless I find some in these chests. Okay, that was fortunate. Right, the copper key for the dungeon downstairs. Ropes for getting out of traps if you should fall into one. Right, there's no food. Do I want to risk this tanglevine? You know what, I'll go for that caltrops. Okay, the tanglevine isn't moving to get me, so yeah, I'll take a risk. Yeah, that paid off. Now, despite my low health, I'm going to take a quick look down the stairs. There's more tanglevines. I'm guessing there's still going to be spiders, and either there's something worse than spiders down here, or maybe the vermin have disappeared by now. Well, I'm not going to attempt that dungeon straight away. I'm going to go back up, sell some of this loot, if I can find my way up. You'll find that a single tower city is quite a bit tedious, because you've got more levels to climb to get back up to the city. Oh, it's an easy shot at that. Right, I can get rid of it. Right, and it's a level up. So what did I say I was going to level up? I don't think I made a choice, did I? I just said it wasn't going to be lockpicking. So I think since the spider's down there, and what I haven't mentioned is spiders can poison you, I'm going to start building up medicine. Now, medicine level 1 is not worth using medicine. In fact, is there any medicine? No. They're not selling poultices in the shop, and I noticed that one of the longbows has been sold. I don't have stealth, so I'll sell caltrops while I'm here. And for the time being, I'll sell the rope because you don't find traps in the upper levels. We'll sell the ranger stuff. So we've got a decent amount of money. Being a ranger's quite an expensive business because once you move up to bows, you have to keep finding the money for these bows. So let's see what this potion is. It's an agility potion. I don't think we need it because agility is capped at 12. And with our fancy sling, we're at 11 already. So I think we can sell this potion for 10 gold. Let's see if this sling is better than the one we've got. No, it's not. And this one? That isn't either. So we can go back to the ranger's shop and sell those slings. There's nothing in the mage's shop that we need. So let's go here and sell those. We might find poultices in the dungeon. Now, given that we've got quite a bit of gold, but there isn't a short bow in this shop, I think what I'm going to do is stock up on arrows. 2 each, so we spend 48 on arrows, and in fact, we can afford a quiver. And I'm tempted to buy the quiver. What the quiver does is it allows you to use a bow without having to hold the arrows in your offhand. Normally, what you would do with a bow is you would stick the bow in your offhand, the bow in one hand, the arrows in the other, and then when they run out, if you've got more arrows, you need to put those in your hand. But with a quiver, you can have arrows down here. And since I have an enchanted sling, what I could do is, when I get a short bow, I could put quiver there, I could keep the sling in my hand, put quiver there, short bow there, and the arrows in my inventory. And what that would do is it would use the short bow while I've got arrows, and I would still get the benefit of the agility +1 because I was holding the sling. And then when the arrows run out, I would automatically start using the sling. I think what I'll do, the only reason I'm thinking about this rather than just doing it is that once I've bought it, which I've decided I'm going to do, I've only got 2 credit now. The merchant will charge me 3 gold to visit the safe deposit box, which I now can't afford, because I don't want to keep these here now because I can't use them right now. I'd rather have the inventory space for loot. But what I've just remembered is this leather cap is not doing that much for me. So if I go to the warrior's shop, I can sell this. Now I won't particularly miss it because it only gives 1 protection. and it has no enchantment on it. Oh, excuse me. So now I've got 7 credits. I can go to the merchant's shop. I can open the safe deposit box. And I can deposit the quiver and the arrows. Oh, I forgot I need food. And I've not left myself much money for food. So we'll just have a piece of chicken. And I shall have to be very careful, not putting myself in too much danger. Right, not doing things like this would be best, when that wasn't necessary. Right, we cleared out this dungeon, although monsters will start to reappear, so I still need to be careful. And this was the one with the spiders first appearing, wasn't it? I will need to deal with that rat. That's dealt with. Right, there won't be any new monsters here because I didn't kill any monsters here. Let's just see if there's anything down that corridor. No. Is that Tanglevine moving? It is. So I'm glad I moved away from it. There we go. Let's see what we've got in here. Right, I'm not going to go into that room just yet. Ooh, they're nasty. The orc is not nice. And it's now tracking me, as you can see. So what I shall do is I'll try and lure the orc a bit closer. That's worked. Because like all ranged monsters, the goblin, this wasn't an orc, it was a goblin. The orcs are the ones that are melee with swords. Like all ranged creatures, the goblin's melee ability isn't as good as its ranged ability. So I've got a bit more food there. Oh, and I need it as well. Because I think I still had damage from the last dungeon I went in. I think if I eat all these berries, I know it leaves me no food, but it also leaves me at full strength. I'm very slow and careful so I don't just run into things. A lockpick, which is of no real use to me. Right, that spider's going to be a big nuisance. Right, I'll play it safe by running away. Okay, spider's waiting behind the door for me. Right, oh, I could cast confusion. And it succeeds. That's good. The spider was trying to climb the wall, I think. Let's shoot that. Now we've got a healing spell, which is no use to me unless I learn protection. But there's no need for me to learn protection because I've got medicine. Probably just sell that spell. Tunic. That's a bit of protection for me until I start wearing the quiver. You can see the spider's tracking me. So what I need to do is go far away and hope that the spider is not waiting behind the door. So cast confusion on it. It failed, so I'm going to run away again. Hope the spider forgets me. Go away, spider. cast confusion again. There we are. Shoot spider. Oh, that was good. I'm not going to use the lockpick. I'll sell the lockpick because I've got the key right here. And the names on the keys would be useful if I had multiple towers to explore. But of course I don't. I didn't pick up any food. So I think I'm just going to have to brave this tangle vine. Do I cast a control spell on it? No, I think I'll just shoot it. Okay, maybe that was the wrong decision. No, it worked out. I've got enough stuff here to afford a reasonable amount of food, but I've not killed enough monsters to level up. I had to kill 2 dungeons worth of monsters to level up. What have we got here? Oh, we've got these goblins. They're both tracking me, which is kind of good. That was suboptimal killing the goblins while it was standing on those coins, because when there's already an item in the square, a monster can't drop anything. There can only be one item or one stack of items. Oops. Okay, so there was a goblin down there. If the goblin causes me no more hits, then these berries should be enough to sort that out. Let's proceed slowly. There's a spider, or an arachnid as the game calls them. I'm going to be a wuss and I'm going to run away from this. Come on, come into the corridor, you coward. Oh, there's the spider. There was the spider. There we are. Let's just fire into the shop, just in case something else has come into the corridor. No. The same here, let's see if there's anything down the corridor there. It appears not. So let's see what's in here. Grab the key first. A short bow. Of course, we put the arrows away in the safe deposit box, but we now have a short bow, so we don't need the shop. Magic dart spell is useless to us. Pick the money up first, and then the staff. Right, let's see what's in here. Another goblin. I keep calling them orcs. Is the goblin dead? Can the goblin see me down this corridor? No, I've not aggroed it, but I think what I'll do is I'll fire a shot. It missed, of course, and now I shall lure it. No, don't be going down there. No, that doesn't work. Oh, I know how I can lure it. There. And it was carrying some coins. Is there anything up here? No. I think that's everything on the level. Yes, I've killed everything. So before I go up, I shall have a quick look what's down here. I see nothing of any informational use, other than the fact that we still have tangle vines. So I don't know what new creatures might lie down here, or whether there is still vermin. I can't remember whether there was still vermin in this level. But anyway, let's go back up, because I think I've earned a level up which you get by returning to the city streets. And it's now a long way to climb up to the city streets. And of course I keep forgetting where the stairs are. There they are. I think this is the last level. So what am I going to level up? I think medicine again, despite the fact there was no medicine in the shop. When we do start finding poultices, a medicine of 2 or more will be useful. Right, let's start offloading things. I think I'll start in the mage's shop because I want to sell these reasonably valuable spells. Now I want to identify the short bow to make sure it isn't cursed. That's good, it's not cursed. There's nothing, oh there is something else I want to identify, and that is this tunic. That's plain. In fact, that was a waste of money because I'm not keeping any tunics, because now I want to have the the quiver. So let's go and sell the tunics and the shield. Oh, and the staff. Let's go and access our safe deposit box. And we will have the quiver and our arrows. Now we can no longer keep the glowing iron key in our hands because I want to put the bow there. So now we've got the +1 agility that we get from the quiver, not the quiver, the sling, but we can still use the bow. And as I said before, that quiver will pluck arrows out of the inventory. So I can actually buy more arrows now. Because one thing that happens when the shops all stock up, which they do every time you level up, they will stock up on arrows. So I'll sell the things that I'm not going to use. Here are arrows. We still have this longbow here. So now I have plenty of arrows. And I think without further ado, oh no, not without further ado, I didn't even check, there's no poultices in the shop still. Hopefully there'll eventually be poultices in the shop. Or we'll find some poultices down in the dungeons. But until that happens, we'll rely on healing up with food. So let's make our way down. Now that I'm using up arrows every time I shoot, I'll be extremely loath to shoot things in these dungeons going down, unless I really have to, because I'll just be wasting arrows that I really want to conserve for these lower levels. Like for instance, this vermin. I'll heal up 3 with berries, and that frees up a slot in my inventory. Yeah, that vermin definitely needed seeing to. Can't remember where the stairs are in this dungeon. Of course, they're down there where that blob is threatening me. So I'm going to have to brave the blob. glad I one-shotted it, because it feels like you're wasting arrows with these ragtag individual monsters. Don't tell me the stairs are up where that spider is. No, they're down here. Ah, this is the dungeon. I didn't know what was down here. And there might be creatures in this corridor I'm standing in. So what I'll do is temporarily maybe unwield the bow and shoot with my sling so that I'm not wasting arrows. Okay, I want my bow for this as a goblin. Whew. I better eat. No, I didn't mean to go up, but I might as well actually. And let's... I need to eat all of this bread to return to full strength. This is why I really want to find poultices. Let's just do a shot south. Okay, so that wasn't wasted. That was wasted, and so was that. Yeah, I think my best strategy is to not worry about wasting arrows in this corridor. So this needs the glowing iron lock. The glowing iron key, rather. Aha, poultices. I've only got medicine 2. So it's not a certainty, it's less than 50-50 that applying a poultice will work. But with 2, I have a better chance of succeeding. Oh, more arrows. I'm proceeding very slowly. Ah, so things are trapped in this room. Where's that tangle vine going? I want to tense that room just yet. Let's see what's up at the top. More food, which is nice. Oh goodness. This is a pretty early dungeon to be finding one of those. Those are nasty. I think the spider is a lot easier to deal with. More arrows is welcome. I'm going to heal just with the food. Hi, Ganax. Nice. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Oh, I've found a trap. Now that I keep selling all those ropes that I say I don't need, here's a trap. So I just have to sit and wander around. Right, I can excuse me, I can safely walk over it now that I know where it is. I kind of tiptoe past it. Right, this is the thing that's going to be a bit dangerous. And I think I'm just going to have to brave it. The Great Hornet missed me. I am so glad. In fact, I don't think I can one-shot this. So I'll cancel that. No, this runs on anything from 4.7 megahertz IBM XT right up to a modern machine. I've got DOSBox running at standard 3000 cycles on here, so this is like an emulated 486, but it should even run on a Pentium because it's turn-based. It should run on a Pentium. And everywhere I've got time loops, but they're based on real time. Like for instance, if I'll show you, in fact, I won't move from this spot yet. You can hold the key down to move. And I think it's 1/4 of a second it delays. So if you hold your key down on a modern Pentium that's running, say, FreeDOS or something at full speed, you'll still only move once every 1/4 of a second. Right, I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try casting Confusion. And it fails. And the Great Hornet hit me, but it did not kill me or paralyze me. So I'm going to move away. And I'm going to heal, or try to heal, using a poultice, which succeeds. So I'll do a little run around the block. Yeah, you can hold your key down like this. And on an XT, it'll be sluggish. It won't quite be moving this fast. It'll be once every half second or so you'll move, maybe a little bit faster than that. When I say an XT, I mean a 4.7 XT. I have a, in fact, just hang on 1 second and I shall bring the original hardware that I run this game on. It'll take me about 20 seconds to go and grab it. Right, my real hardware, and I can only use it in decent daylight, is this thing. So I'm watching the camera to make sure it does actually come up on frame. Hewlett-Packard 100LX, which is actually an 80186, but it's equivalent to an 8 megahertz XT. And it has CGA graphics, and if I hit the on key, you probably will see the DOS prompt on there. And if I run Chambers, and I'll run it with the -M switch for monochrome, there you can see the game running. You can't quite hear, you can't hear it yet because it takes a lot longer to set up the game before it starts with the music and the press a key. And I can't hear it anyway because I've got headphones on. But yeah, that's my original hardware. Yeah, the Pocket 386 would be better. Right, I'll just quit from this and switch it off. I do love playing with the HP, but I can only really use it in the summer because the light coming into the house is lamplight doesn't really help, and artificial lights it doesn't do well in. But when the sunlight's streaming in through the window behind me, it's great on that screen. And also when it's nice and warm, I can go outside and sit in the park or something. So I just realised I was letting my tea go cold. But that's the only original hardware I have. Other than, if you count it as original hardware, I've got the Book 8088, and that runs it fine, and it runs it fine if I leave it at 4.7 megahertz. Runs it better if I speed up to 8 megahertz. But the one thing I don't like about running it on the Book 8088 is that brown looks like bright orange. So this display is ugly. You can read everything It's just that you feel like you need sunglasses to play. So I have to use the -P switch on the Book 8088, which gives me the black background, you know, the nostalgia CGA palette. And it's okay, I get used to it, but it's always been a thing that I strive for, to get away from that palette, since nearly everybody who supported CGA back in the day all used that palette and never explored any of the different palettes. So I try and avoid using that palette where I can, but I do put it in all of the games just so that people can get their nostalgia fix, or like I found, if your display doesn't really support the palette that I've chosen, then it can at least run the game. And also the -M, if you're running it on your 200LX, I recommend the -M, because although the 200LX and 100LX support 4 grayscales, the way they render the grayscales isn't really accurate. And it's a lot of CGA mono systems have this problem, where you would expect that the colour that shows brighter on a colour screen, the game does have sound. In fact, the sound should be coming through. There's not much sound in the game. I deliberately didn't make it. I didn't do footsteps because I thought that'd get on people's nerves. And when you do get sound, I'm hearing the sound, by the way, so if you're not, let me know. When I actually do things, I'll let you know when there's sound. You get sound when you go down the stairs or up the stairs. You get sound when you hit something in any kind of combat, including magic. You get no sound if you miss. And any other magic things that happen, like you cast any spell, like Confusion, or when the monsters paralyze you, or what's the other one? It's usually paralyze or lure, or any of those kind of things. You hear a sound when they do that. I've had to switch my desktop audio down because some of the things got a bit loud and scratchy. What's the word? You know, when sound is too loud for the not the microphone, but yeah, people were complaining that the sound was peaking. That was it. I was getting too much peaking with the sound at full volume. So yeah, but it's when you run it on the 200LX, you want the -M parameter, because that switches it into 640 by 200, 1-bit black and white, just using dithering for the middle two colours. And that works a lot better on the Hewlett-Packard screen. Let me just deal with the robots. I actually appreciate these robots because they do actually show up in my stats for, as individual users. So even though that message should have now disappeared from the chat for anyone other than me, or you might not have even seen it in the first place because Twitch is circling it with a warning. But yeah, the stats show it as a real person sending a real message, which is useful while I'm working towards being an affiliate. Anyway, yeah, it's good fun on the HP, but it'll be more fun on the Pocket 386. So I have retreated. I'm just trying to remember. Right, oops. Just trying to remember what I was doing. I was going to try to deal with this giant hornet. So the giant hornet missed me. Now, do I try another control spell? Or do I just try shooting? I'm going to try control spell again. Yes! Did you hear the little crunch sound when I cast that spell? Because if not, then my audio needs switching up. Now I'll wait for the hornet to move again. You should hear another noise when I shoot it. Okay, the hornet hit me, and paralyzes me so that I can't move away. But the horn is currently staggering around at random. So it's not actually aiming at me. And the paralysis has worn off already. Oh no. I'm paralysed. The best hope I've got is to try and kill it. No, it didn't work out. So that's the end of Mitard the Ranger. So that's one character down. But I couldn't just stay away from that Great Hornet forever, because I suppose I could. I could have just left it in that little room. That would have been one strategy. There's no need to actually kill everything. But I never thought of that. So, yeah, lesson learned. But I'm at the top of the high score table with this Ranger. So let's try another character. So I'll exit the game just to make sure that the high score table gets saved. Oh, I can show you some of the palette options. I could do this at any time, because if you quit the game, it just saves your game, and when you reload it, it returns you right back to where you were. You should be hearing the music there as well. If I remember right, this is why I switched it down, because otherwise the music would be louder than me. So yeah, we're back where we were, but with the nostalgia palette. And I'm not going to play in this palette. But the other palette is the monochrome palette. Which is that one. Which my screen is messing up the enlargements, and I'm seeing banding. I don't know if that's showing up on stream. But yeah, you've got monochrome. The only downside of monochrome, apart from not having the colours, is the obvious thing. But the potions, there are like 10 different colour combinations and shading combinations to distinguish the potions. And not all of them are distinguishable in monochrome. And the same with the armour. I think all 3 armour pieces, all 3 tunics, they're not all tunics, they all look the same. And you have to just move the cursor over them to see which ones they are. But apart from that, monochrome works fine. So let's just run chambers as nature intended with the proper colour scheme. Right, so Mitard the Ranger died with 133 coins. So let's see what options we get next. We get a usable mage. Kylin the Mage. Doesn't matter how you pronounce these names because the computer just made them up. Power 3, that's the thing I always look for in a mage. With Power 3, they can learn the Magic Dart spell, and it's effective at level 3 against the lower dungeons. Not the deeper dungeons, I mean the lower level dungeons, the easier dungeons. Already got control level 1. They have archery, which is wasted, because, especially at level 1, because the Magic Dart spell works at range. So archery is kind of a duplicate thing. And the magic spells for ranged combat don't need arrows. So, and bludgeoning is also wasted. So the only downside with this character is that only 4 of the 6 skill points they start with are actually useful. The others are wasted. Let's check out the Ranger. So archery 4, which is nice, we're nearly at archery 5. which is what you need for the longbow. Stealth 1, which is good because it makes it harder for the monsters to detect you. Knowledge is kind of okay, not super exciting, but Knowledge 1 allows you to use Soul Search, which, if you use it successfully, that tells you what hit points a monster has left. If you use it down a long corridor, it's good to confirm whether there's a monster there at all. It tells you what the monster's hit points are, and sometimes it'll tell you what the monster's holding as well. And the funny thing about Knowledge is, even if it fails, you will know that there's a creature down there because it'll give you a message like, your spell fails against the vermin. So you're like, okay, thanks, now I know there's a vermin down the corridor. This warrior I can see is not very good because Blades 3 is okay. It's a decent level of blades, but blades require agility, and the agility is only at level 4. If it wasn't for that, this would be a good character. But with such a low agility, that would be a waste. And Kicker's got 12 strength, and it just feels like the strength would be utterly wasted because in this game, blades use agility alone. Your bludgeoning weapons use strength, blades use agility. So, yeah, I think Kicker the Warrior is not going to be our character. So it's a choice between Urga the Ranger, who is quite good, or Kylin the Mage. And since we played a Ranger in the last game, I think I'll go for Kylin the Ranger, despite the fact that 2 of the skill points are wasted. So in this game, I'm not going to read all this again because it's almost the same every game other than the item that changes. So, Emo Steward of Latrasel. I like the city name, Latrasel. And Emo wants us to find the Gem of Authority. I don't think I've ever once on stream got far enough down to find any of these quest items. So we make a beeline for the Mage's shop. Before we make a beeline for the Mage's shop, we explore the city and find the Mage's shop. Then we find a magic dart spell. And like the lowest level of weapons, the magic dart... Yeah, the Pocket 386 should be fine because that's VGA. And VGA's got you've got your full palette of 262,000 colours. And my games are EGA, VGA aware. I would say they're EGA aware, really. In that they detect, well, they don't detect when you've got an EGA card or better. What they do is when I ask for a palette, they address the CGA card and say, I want this palette. And if the CGA card isn't there, then that just gets ignored. And then they address the EGA card and say, set these 4 colours through the BIOS. And if you don't have an EGA card, if it's a true CGA machine, then those colours are ignored. So what happens is whether you've got EGA or CGA, you should get the right colours. It's just the book 8088, it's their choice of LCD, maybe the way they've configured the graphics hardware, that brown comes out as orange. But on the Pocket 386 it should look fine. So yeah, the Magic Dart spell, because it's a basic level attack spell, it's already identified in this shop. Because I think it would be a bit unfair if you couldn't find your basic level spells in the shop and if there was a possibility that they were cursed. So I make sure they're identified if nothing else. So we have our scroll. Now we're out of the shop. We read it. And the one thing that's particular to the mage class is that the first spell that you read, you'll always learn. I think level 12, there's still a very slight, sorry, not level 12. On intelligence 12, there's a very slight chance that you'll fail to learn something. But as I say, the mage always learns the first thing that they read. That's just for gameplay reasons. You don't want to start a game, fluffy first spell, and then just be soft locked. Yeah, the way the reading works, and a lot of things that are based on your stats, is it throws 2 6-sided dice, and it has to be under whichever stat you're using. So now that I've read the spell, I need to explore the dungeons and see. Now I've got multiple towers in this city, which is more interesting. So I feel confident. So this is supposedly a dungeon that I can handle. Dryad lures me. That means if I try to move, no matter what direction I press, I'll go towards the Dryad. I don't want that, so I'm going to stand in place and cast a spell instead. The Dryad lures me again because, like my own spells, the lure spell that the monsters use only lasts for a random number of turns, so sometimes they have to do it again. I have to be careful on my first level because I don't have any food or any other means of healing. So for magic healing, you need the protection skill. I'm trying to lure that. Yeah, there she comes, the Dryad. There we go, Dryad dealt with. Now there's a locked chest here, but I haven't found any keys yet, which suggests to me that this isn't the easiest dungeon. Along with the fact that there are multiple types of monster. On the easiest dungeon, there would just be one type of monster, either the vermin or, in some games, you get the bat instead. So a spare magic dart spell, which might be useful. I'm going to leave that vermin alone. Okay, this vermin is going to be aggroed as soon as I enter there. Is it still tracking me? No, it's not. So I can try and get in this room and attack it at range. Not as much range as I'd like. Oops, not shoot. I'm still pressing the shoot shortcut from the last game. It's cast. Oh, that was lucky. Now I have a means of healing. Yeah, I can't open this. It needs a glowing bronze lock. I have to go through this door. That's the only door. But I'll use the same trick as I did before. Let the vermin forget me. Okay, I'll let the vermin come up to me, but at least I will get the first shot in. And I missed. Let's pick up some money. One vermin, right, I may as well tackle this one now. Oh, a potion. Right, so this dungeon's been cleared out. Are there any stairs down? There aren't always stairs. Oh yes, there are. So let's go and see what's down here. It helps to know what monsters are ahead. So I feel terrified and I see blobs. They're the blobs that spit acid at you over long distances. So I won't investigate further. But before I go down there in anger, I hope to find some means of healing. So I won't bother trying to sell anything yet because I've not got much to sell. This needs a complex mithril lock to go down the tower. Right, let's try that one. I'm terrified, and there are skeletons with swords. I'll do that one next. I'm trying to figure out a route. Yeah, I don't think I'll tackle these yet. Trying to figure out a linear route through the city on its Ironlook. I feel afraid. Lots of dryads. Now I've handled dryads, but I feel terrified. Hornets, that's got what got me in the last game. Spectres, which are possibly even more frightening. I feel confident, that's what I was looking for. While I'm at this vulnerable stage, I don't want to be attacking things that might cause me too much harm. So there'll only be rats here. Oh, another scroll. Where is the other one? There it is. I've got enough food to heal up now. Yes, I will pull away. In fact, what I'll do is I will read this spell. That's healing. I can't use healing yet. It'll nearly always fail. As in 35 times out of 36 it will fail. So that's because I don't have protection skill. And when you don't have the right skill, you've only got a 1 in 36 chance of success. Right, let's just cast. That was lucky. Let's get rid of all of this nonsense out of the room. And now I can root through these chests. Have a good rummage. Right, I've got some money now. Oh, lots of scrolls. So this A scroll might be the useful one that I'm looking for. Glowing bronze key. Now that will be the key for that first dungeon we were in. Let's just read this A scroll. Soul search. No, I don't have knowledge. But the thing is, I intend to get all 4 branches of magic going because I've got 2 skill slots left. So I can learn knowledge, I can learn control. Not control, I can learn knowledge and I can learn protection. So that will be all 4 branches of magic. Right, the rat isn't tracking me. Let's see if I can get the rat to go away. In fact, I don't need to be such a wuss because I'm at full strength. There we are. Right. So let's go up. I think this was the top level. Yes, and I'll do what I said I'll do, but I will use this point to go with protection because I've got the healing spell, which is more useful than soul search. And it usually takes a fair few goes to succeed at healing when you're at level 1 of protection. But I've got the spell, so that's fine. And while I'm here, what I will do is I will store away. Where's the merchants? There. I'll access the safe deposit box. I've got 3 magic dart spells. I don't need to keep them all. I'll just store 1 away. The reason I'm keeping 1 is, let's say I learn the 4th basic spell that I want, which is the control spell, one I had before, whose name I forget. Confusion, that's it. I learn Confusion. That takes up all 4 of these spell slots. Then let's say later on I get identify, which is useful because you don't have to keep going back to the Mage's Shop to identify things. That would push this, that would be a 5th spell, and I would forget Magic Dart. So having a Magic Dart spell already in my safe deposit box means that I can then go and relearn Magic Dart. And I'll do the same when I find other basic spells like healing. Not necessarily Soul Search, because I don't care that much about Soul Search. But Confusion, definitely. Once I learn Confusion and I start finding spares, I'll store those away. I might come back to the merchant shop for food, but I don't actually think it's necessary. Right, down to the Mage's Shop where I can sell both of these. Let's see what this potion is. Antidote. It's kind of useful because we've seen spiders. So if I can drink that when I've been poisoned, it'll neutralise the effect. And let's see if there are any new spells. I only see A, C, and I in here. And we know what these are. So there are no confusion spells to buy in the shop. In fact, I won't bother buying food, because I do have protection now, so I can use healing even if it does take a fair few goes to work. Right, now I need to remember which tower I was in. I think it was, no, it wasn't that one. Was it this one? No, it wasn't, although I'm now confident in this dungeon. So I think I will give this a go. Right, is that Dryad up in this corridor? No. But that Dryad came up close. That Dryad, I think, is going to come. Oh, there's 2 Dryads in view now. This is not good because I'm caught between 2 Dryads, so I can't step out of the way because they've lured me. I think it was the lower one that had lured me. It only lets one thing lure you at a time. And the lower one had me lured, so the upper one had to wait. So they've been killed, and I can now have an extra Soul Search. See to this Dryad. Dryads can lure you at range. Well, anything that lures you at range, because it wouldn't be much use otherwise. Glowing copper lock. Glowing bronze key. So this is not... Oops. This is not the key for that chest. And any lure that gets put on you disappears if you kill the thing that lured you. Right, there's nobody over that way. That's good. So we get nice hats. Well, it may be a nice hat. We don't know really. I could use these slings, but there's not much point because the effect would be inferior to just using my Magic Dart spell. Oh, I think I've killed everything here. These things are what I wanted to see more of in the last game, poultices. Let me just make sure I've killed everything. Oh, I haven't opened this chest. Another soul search spell. I think I'll just sell these. I don't need to keep them. I've killed everything here. Let's see what's further down. I feel afraid. And there are spiders. That's confirmed. I may have previously been remembering the spiders from the last game, but I've confirmed there are spiders in this game. So the antidote will be useful. Now let's see. This, I think, was the staircase that I was in, possibly. No, I'm terrified here. This was the one with the hornets. So this was the staircase I was in. Yes. And I can't remember if I checked what was further down here, and whether it was something I want to explore now. Can't even remember where the staircase was, but because Magic Dart doesn't use up any resources, I shall shoot these vermin for sports and XP. Oh, it looks like there are no stairs down in this dungeon at all. So I will try to remember there's no point ever coming down this staircase again. It's done and dusted, that dungeon. This is why it's actually a good idea to keep a notepad by you, and maybe either with a little map or just a description of where the towers are, record what's in each tower, what locks you find. See, if I'd have done that, I wouldn't be now searching around all the towers to find out where this glowing bronze key fits. I would have had it written down. It might be that chest. Yes, I know she's luring me. Well, I'm not going to die to a dryad, am I, at this stage of the game? I can't really use protection now. Yes, I am going to die to a dryad at this stage of the game. Yeah, I couldn't try healing because it only heals you at 1 point per turn. And there's about a 1 in 3 chance of it succeeding when you've got protection level 1. So that wasn't going to work. So Kylin the Mage actually collected a reasonable amount of loot for somebody who only got to level 2. And of course there were those spells, or that one spell that I stored away. So that's 2 characters I've got through. So let's have a look at this. Now this is a better warrior than the last one because we've got Blades 3 again. But we have 7 agility, which makes Blades worth using. Tactics 2, which means that when you fail a hit, you get 2 more attempts. Knowledge 1, I think, is useless with this character because they are stupid. It literally says stupid in the bio. I haven't been reading the bios out because they're boilerplate text, but it says here, natural abilities make you mighty, of average agility, and stupid, because you've got 2 intelligence. So it would be almost impossible to read the spell and learn it. Once you'd learned the spell, like something like Soul Search would work. But any spell, I'm trying to remember what the other knowledge spells are. Well, Identify. Identify would work. And Foreseeing would kind of work, but not very well. So, but it would be a big struggle unless you found an enchanted item of intelligence +6. It would be a big struggle to learn any spells with this character. But warriors aren't about spells, so I could take this character and just ignore knowledge. Then we have, what's this character called? Alax, or Alaxi. We've got Gekalee. Just got rid of some dirt on my monitor. Gekalee, who has average strength, swift, and of average intelligence. And we've got archery at 2, which is a little bit low. Stealth at 2, which is good. Power, which when you've got archery, power is wasted. Blades would be interesting actually to have. Yeah, the thing about blades is they actually do more damage than the other weapons. So it'd be interesting to have an archer who could fire at stuff when they're at range, and then as soon as they get right up close to you, just stab them with the dagger. That would be more effective once blades gets up to 2 and archery goes up to 3. But then once you start using bows and you want your offhand for arrows and other things, it becomes a bit more awkward. But this is one to consider. So both of these characters are okay, not really good, but okay. And we've got Brick. Oh, with a name like Brick, I think we've found our character, Brick the Mage. So power 3, which is what we want for the magic dart spell. Control 1, which is a good start. Knowledge 1. And the bludgeoning 1 is wasted because even with a monster right next to you, you're better just firing magic darts at them. But it has to be Brick the Mage. Their intelligence is a bit low. They're kind of average on everything. Well, it says of average strength, slow and wise. But 7 is the average, and everything is kind of close to it. So I think Brick the Mage. Also, the fact that Brick the Mage has a decent strength means that the bludgeoning might not entirely be wasted. We could develop that bludgeoning, maybe give them a mace to hit things with when things get close. Yeah, let's go with Brick the Mage. I don't have too much longer left to stream, but we can make a good start with Brick and hopefully not kill a Brick straight away. So we're talking to Ilindi, Prince of Krek. It's a bit of a mouthful for the name of the city. And we're looking for the Goblet of Holiness. As if we're ever going to get close to this thing before something kills us. So, greetings, Brick. This is going to amuse me every time I go into a shop. So, Yanda the Mage will hopefully sell us a magic dart spell. Well, they will sell us a magic dart spell, I know, because I made sure that there's always a magic dart spell in the Mage's shop. And we'll read the magic dart spell, and because it's our first spell, it will always be a success. And now let's just check out the route around the city. There are only 3 towers, so there's going to be an average of 8 levels under each tower. I'm just having a quick look around for a spare bit of paper. I don't have a pen handy. I don't want to start faffing with text editors, but I'm tempted to keep a proper record of what we find. So we feel confident, so this is probably the best level to have started with. Let's get rid of this rat before I start browsing the chests. Glowing copper key. That vermin seems to be just chilling down there, so I'll go back to the stairs and kill it. All these easy level chests are just like the odd coin. Not usually anything exciting in them. Oh, that's good. This vermin is, yep, it's just sitting there ambushing us. Not that it did it any good. Can we try and get this rat to go away? No, it was tracking us. Let's just go a bit up the corridor and then back down again. Wait for something to come into our line of sight. I don't actually have much of a means of healing. So I think Brick the Mage, it'd be a shame to throw away Brick the Mage. Yeah, it's not a good position. I can just retreat, but with what I've got, I can barely afford... In fact, I can't afford to heal up. Let me calculate this. 16 points of healing. And I won't get 16... Oh, actually I will. Yeah, let's play it safe and be a wuss. Although, of course, what will happen is another rat will spawn down here. Let's be a wuss. And I'll sell this. Oh no, this only sells for 3 gold. I think the dagger sells for 5, so I should still make 16. And then... Oh, 15. No. It was my hope to go to the healer, because I'll show you the healing. You can't afford 16 gold. When you're at level 1, that's when the healing at the Ranger's shop is cost effective. Once you go up to level 2, they charge 2 gold for every point healed. But I wanted to take advantage of this while it was still cost effective, but I can't. What I can do is go to the shop here, buy some bread, and hi, by the way, Glorious Cow. It's nice to see you pop in. Glorious Cow is one of the beta testers for the game. I really appreciate with this game there were a lot of beta testers playing this quite intensively, and it really helped to iron out some. And there weren't any major bugs. Yeah, there weren't major bugs, but there were a few imbalances. I think I was the one who found most of the bugs. Right, I think I'm just going to do or die here because I've got nothing left to buy any healing with. Right, well that worked, except that I am now almost dead. Yeah, there are quite a few little bugs that I found in, and things that you wouldn't possibly not even notice. Like that weird bug where you were dual wielding bow and sling. Which might not even be obvious there was a bug there. Again, I think I'm just going to have to do or die here. Actually, no, first of all, I try and creep around. Oh, I know what's going to happen here. Oh no, I thought she was going to lure me. See if there's anything useful in this chest. I was hoping for some food. Right. She is luring me, but I might be able to kill her before she kills me. Yes. I have to be very careful about what I'm doing here. There's vermin there, which... Yeah, I can't attack that at range, because as soon as I get if I try and go there, it's immediately going to move towards me and I won't be at range. So I'll have to be very lucky to kill it in one shot. And if I go there to try and fire down into here, these things, again, it's going to wander right up to me. So that's not going to work. Let's see if there's anything I can attack over here. Or a chest that I can open. That would be nice. Glowing mithril key. Oops, I tried shooting when what I really meant was cast. Let's see if I can have a good... Again, we've got a rat here. So again, I'm at the do or die. I do have stuff I can sell now, but I think with this mage, it's going to be a struggle. So it's do or die. Yeah, that defeated you. One of the reasons that I decided to do or die here is that we have like 3 minutes till end of stream. So I think what I'll do for the rest of the stream is just choose another character. So Brick the Mage didn't get very far, which is a shame because that name was fantastic. And the stats of this would have made an interesting character if I could have leveled up that bludgeoning and got a fighter mage. But let's see who we have for the next game. I'll get to the point of choosing the character, maybe equipping them, and then we'll leave the actual fight for the next go. So I've got Blades 2, which is already putting me off, with an agility of 6. Now Blades 2 with an agility of 7, I might have been tempted, but with an agility of 6, although we do have bludgeoning 2 as well, with a strength of 10. So we would just be ignoring the blades. Now we've got tactics and control. They're good. So what this warrior could do, they could only handle a staff at bludgeoning 2, but that's what you'd start with anyway. You usually can't afford a mace at the start. Tactics gives them an extra hit if they don't hit the first time. And eventually control would allow them to cast control spells at the monsters, but this would be a bit limited with intelligence of 5. So let's see what the range is like. Oh, this is very much better. We've got archery of 3, so they know already how to handle a short bow, even though they can't afford one at the start. Stealth 2 means that they can creep a bit closer to the monsters and maybe sneak past them on occasion. And they've got lockpicking, which I've never really played with. They've also got quite a high intelligence, which means it may be worth them developing a magical skill. Not power, because that duplicates the archery for ranged combat, but you'd have a choice of knowledge for things like identify and foreseeing. Control is useful for every character class. Influence the behaviour of the monsters to make them stagger about or run away or freeze if you develop it enough. And I'm forgetting, protection. They could go down the protection route for healing rather than using the medicine. Because one of the advantages of magic healing over ranger medicine is that ranger medicine is at the mercy of you finding poultices. If the ranger shop isn't selling poultices, you're out, and if you don't find any in the dungeon, then you're out of luck. But there is an advantage to poultices, and that's that one poultice successfully applied will heal you right up to maximum health. Over time, it still does it at 1 point per turn, but it's good that you can apply one poultice, and as long as you don't get hit again, you know it'll take you right up to maximum health. And let's see what the mage is like. The mage would be a bit of a challenge. They've got power 2, so they're not a lost cause. Knowledge 3 is good because they can already, once they learn the identify spell, they can already use that. And the soul search spell is a bit more useful because it will work most of the time. But power 2 will make it a little bit scary getting past the early dungeons, because there'll be a lot more misses with that magic dart spell. So I think I would go for, let me just check the warrior again, Koxala. Yeah, I think Koxala isn't a lost cause, but Koxala is a bit, I'd say, underwhelming. So I'm going to select Dami the Ranger. So Jargesi, Steward of Ionistal or Ionistal. And we're looking for the Goblet of Might. So let's just equip this character and see what's around. And what the city's like as well. So I see 2 towers at this end of the city, 1 tower at this end, so there's still only 3 towers. One thing I will do is at the magic shop, because then you know which spell is the magic dart spell. And if I see an F down in the dungeons, I know it's a magic dart. It's not actually an F, this is the Etruscan alphabet, and that's a V. We've got a V, an I, an N, and a P. You don't know what the others are yet, but you do know what the V is. So now I know what the magic dart spell looks like. And because I don't want to develop magic on this character with an intelligence of 8, there's no reason to go in here, I don't think. Oh, the archer, the ranger's down there. So let's go into the ranger's shop. This helps with stealth, but it costs 20, and I wouldn't be able to afford a weapon. I see no short bow again. So 1 sling without any fancy enchantments. Yeah, this costs 20. I will buy one of those because that will help with the stealth. Stealth also allows us to lay traps, so it may be worth buying caltrops, but not yet. I'll wait until I can afford a full stack of them. These are good. These do harm to the monsters that tread on them. It's random, and the randomness is decided when you lay them. When you lay each of the player traps, a skill roll is made against your stealth to decide whether that trap was, concealed well enough. And if it was, then monsters that tread on that will start taking damage. So you can lay them down the corridor, and if you lay, like if I laid 6 down the corridor, anything treading over those 6 is bound to be hit by some of them. So they are quite good. Right, I think what I'm going to do with the rest of my gold, because I don't have any healing skills just yet, is I'm going to go to the merchant's shop. Oh, look at all that bread. Let's buy the bread. And then let's do that. And then, as a reminder for next time of what I intended to do, I'll position myself against this first dungeon. And with that, I'll call it a stream. Thank you very much for coming along. It's been very nice to have you here while I've been doing the first playthrough of the release version of the game. I've always been playing through beta test and development versions up till now, and this is the release version. So I shall have a quick look online and see if there is anybody who is online playing MS-DOS games. And I have spotted no, that's not a DOS game. I've spotted one person playing a DOS game. So if you would do me the favour of hanging around for the raid, I'll be very grateful. And we'll go and visit Jogresk. So I will set that raid going now. In fact, no, I won't. I shall go to the ending card and then I'll set up the raid. Thank you very much, and I shall see you when we get into Jogresk's stream. See you next Sunday.